Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, you and money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, 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 money. We got that fly, Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that fly Nubian money, boss talk, don't it? We stack it up.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday and happy Memorial Day. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I'm Tiara Williams, also known as Miss Black Hollywood and Karma J. It just depends on the day. And I want to welcome you to our show. It's been a minute. I was a little under the weather, so really it was my fault. But we missed you all. We're so glad to be back. I'm glad to be back feeling better. So y'all bear with me today. I appreciate it in advance. All right, so let's get into this real quick. So social media has created a new generation of financial influencers selling luxury lifestyle, entrepreneurship, and real estate success, and promises of financial freedom. But as more fraud allegations surface against online personalities, starting to ask those harder questions. Who is truly verifiable? Who is actually qualified to talk about influencing and finance in this way? And just really, we're thinking about all influencers. Who's qualified to talk about any of the things? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant type situations. And how are they getting caught up chasing appearances instead of real financial stability? The internet has made wealth look easy, with expensive cars and designer clothes and private jets and, motivational content saying that you too can do it if you just take my course. So I want to talk about today, like, what does this look like? And how do we know who we can actually follow? And who do we, and if we'll find out later on that they have been convicted of some type of felony. So let's talk about it today. I can't have this conversation by myself. I have the best queens in the world, the smartest, the most beautifulest queens I know. I'm starting with over on this side with Deborah Will Win, Deborah E. Williams, Renee Williams, the Williams girls are here, Melissa, and Marlo Layson. Hey, queens, how are y'all today?
Good afternoon.
Fantastic. Good.
I love that. I love that. Thank you all for being here with me. So let's get into this. Let's talk about big financial business. I want to know, had you heard about this particular story? And is there a financial guru outside of Dr. Boyce Watkins that you follow? Is there anybody that you get information from outside of Dr. Boyce regularly? I'll start with you, Renee.
I do. Oh, yes, I do. But has to do with crypto. And please forgive me right now. It's early. But he's on TikTok, and I do follow him for crypto advice.
Okay. So you were following Big Business for crypto advice?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, so great. I'm glad somebody on the panel follows Big Business in particular. Marlo, what about you? Do you know this? Do you follow this particular real estate guru? And or do you follow anyone for that matter?
I know who I know, and I know some scammers. And so I try to deal with who I know, people that I know this is what they do. I don't get no financial stability information off the internet at all, because one day people be big pimping, the next day they be multiply indicted. I don't do it.
Okay. All right. What about you, Melissa? Do you know? Can you hear me, Melissa?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. What about you? Do you follow big business, or do you follow anyone else outside of Dr. Boyce? Do you?
I don't follow big business, and I don't really follow any other financial advisors outside of Dr. Boyce just because Dr. Boyce has so much material already. And I notice with social media, sometimes it's so easy to get oversaturated with all these different creators doing all these different things. So I just stick to Dr. Boyce, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What about you, Deborah?
So, yes, I go down a rabbit hole every now and then. Yes, yes, yes. So, of course, Dr. Boyce, B1 Family. But I do follow EYL because Earn Your Leisure, they're from Westchester County, New York, where I'm from. And they built an amazing, wonderful platform that has attracted a lot of young investors that have never, thought about investing before. So I do follow them. I also follow Aristotle. I think his tag is Honey Drip.
Yeah.
And, because they have like a proven success in their track record. So those, and there's another young lady that I just started following who talks a lot about REITs, and she's like showing her receipts for those REITs. So, but I've seen the other ones out there, they're out there floundering and flapping in the wind. But yeah, I try to stick to some solid foundations.
Yeah, I get that. I follow Aristotle. I follow Wall Street Trapper. Obviously I follow Dr. Boyce. I follow I already said Earn Your Leisure, but there's one more that I follow, but not follow, right? I don't know anybody as closely. I haven't been able to watch anybody as closely as I probably have been to Dr. Boyce, right? So like being able to kind of like be right there, like, what you doing? Oh, and then what do you do? And if I don't know if I would if I hadn't seen, like, if I go to the conferences and actually talk to people who are like, I made money doing this. I've really been able to improve my wealth doing that. Outside of that, I would have thought, like, I don't know. I just think that Dr. Bush is probably the one that I follow the most, but that's obvious. Okay, so let's
And
look
I
at this
just want to
person.
stay corrected that
Yeah.
I don't follow big business. I follow
Mhm.
somebody named Calvin on TikTok for crypto. But otherwise, yeah, Dr. Boyce, I have all of his things and tapes and whatnot. Well, is it tapes?
Mhm.
It's not tapes anymore. But anyway, I just want to stand corrected that I don't follow big business and whomever that person is.
All good, all good. I mean, just in general, like, I think outside of, like, there's so many different types of influencers. I mean, I happen to like family influencers. I love to see like family content. So I guess, in a sense, there are certain influencers that I like to watch, but for the most part, I try not to get caught up in people's lifestyles because you really don't know. So let's go to our first video and just lay the foundation for the conversation, and we'll be right back. Let's do it. Yes.
Rich through property investing. And now, federal prosecutors say it was all a scam. Greg Parker Jr., known online as Big Business, built a massive following by selling a very specific version of the American dream. Private jets, luxury cars, multi-million-dollar homes, and a rags-to-riches story about building wealth through real estate in Philadelphia and beyond. But according to a new federal indictment, prosecutors allege Parker and his wife actually operated a real estate Ponzi scheme for years, targeting aspiring investors. The couple has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and multiple counts of wire fraud. The Parkers use social media to market expensive investment seminars and mentorship programs across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Tickets reportedly range from a few hundred to thousands of dollars for investment opportunities and coaching programs. Followers were told they could buy distressed properties that would generate above-market returns through rental income. Instead, prosecutors allege that many investors either never received properties at all, or ended up with homes that were condemned, loaded with unpaid taxes, or allegedly not owned by the Parkers in the first place. Over the last few years, multiple lawsuits were filed against the couple under RICO statutes, the same laws often associated with organized fraud cases. Some of the lawsuits have since been settled. The Parkers have not publicly responded to many of the allegations, but the controversy surrounding them has only grown. Online, finance creators and self-described scam busters began posting videos featuring alleged victims, who claim they lost tens, and in some cases even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And critics say the story points to something much bigger than just one influencer. During the pandemic-era real estate boom, finance influencers exploded online. Many sold expensive courses and mentorship programs, promising fast wealth through real estate investing or entrepreneurship. And for young people desperate for financial stability, the pitch worked, especially when it comes to those selling advice looking like they already made it. Critics say cases like this expose the darker side of real estate influencer culture, where social media clout can start to look like financial credibility. Even as lawsuits mounted and investors claimed massive losses, Parker continued posting luxury lifestyle content online. Now, for many former followers, the story has become a cautionary tale about influencer culture, financial desperation, and what happens when social media success becomes indistinguishable from credibility. The Parkers are presumed innocent unless proven in court. To keep following the story, tune into The Real Deal.
All right, let's jump into this thing. So, so I want to know what you think, Marlo. What do you think about that? Now that you know who the Parkers are, meet the Parkers. What do you think?
I've heard other Parkers. This is what it is, right? This is what the veil of social media can create for people. And that's why I just always tell people, I have people come to me all the time like, oh, I'm about to do this course, or have you heard of such and such? I'm thinking about doing that course. And I'm just like, buyer beware, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at their credentials. What have they done? And I think some of it is, people be slick, fast talking. Right now, guys, there's a high level, multi-level marketing scam that's running afoot right here where I live. And it involves a very high profile person. I'm not going to put his business in the street, but when he gets indicted, I'm going to jump on here on Monday and I'm going to roll with it because I see the scam in play, y'all. And it's sad because people are looking for financial freedom, especially the generation that is beneath my generation, like the millennials and the zennials or whoever they are. They have seen their parents work maybe 2, maybe 3 jobs. They have watched hardship and they've watched hard work not turn into reward. And so they are definitely turning their wheels and trying to figure out how they can get in on some of this money that we always hear is circulating. And I feel really bad for them because they are young, prefrontal cortex is not fully evolved. I feel bad for older people who have looked at a life of work and they're like, I didn't give these people all my 401k savings because they told me that this was the path. But it's always buyer beware. And I do not, scammers are probably the worst for me. That's probably the worst type of criminal is a scammer because you got to make yourself trustworthy in order to break the trust. So yeah, buy Parkers. If the feds are coming, if it's the feds that's knocking at the door, we gonna have to say bye to the Parkers for a little while, y'all, because nobody beats the feds when they run an indictment.
Let's see what happens. All right. What about you, Renee? What do you think?
Sorry, I'm a little bit delayed. So yeah, I think right now is something that what I heard, like it's called like the hollow effect. Like our brains are wired to associate physical abundance with competence. And a lot of us, not a lot of us, well, I mean, people who kind of feed into the hype of the jets and the jets and the houses and things, we're looking for an escape. Somewhere that we want that, it looks beautiful, water shimmering, sun, everything. So, I think I have to say I have been scammed. I'm not going to say more than, 1 time, shame on you, 2 times, however they say that thing. I mean, I have been scammed more than once. And, I have, trying to chase something really quick and fast, believing in the dream of what they were saying to me. And, so I have to say I fell into it, and people do fall into it, believing that we can do better and get better. And then I have to learn it's not quick. It's not fast. You have to put in the work and you learn. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Why do you think, Melissa, people are so drawn to online wealth influencers?
I mean, everyone wants money, and no one wants to work hard for it, especially nowadays with AI and everything and how the world is going. So I don't know. I just feel like a lot of it is people trying to find ways to fulfill themselves, kind of like the whole Cheyenne Bryant thing, not to change, the topic,
Hmm.
but,
Hmm.
it's like we're all just we're trying to reach for something. We're trying to get something that we feel like is attainable. But I mean, I've been scammed before. So I can
Sure, I'm
tell
with
you out of experience, like, and it came from me just wanting, I want money. I want to help my mom. I want to pay my rent. I want to be comfortable. But we don't take enough time to really pay attention to the signs, right? I feel like the signs are always there and we just desire.
you. Yeah, yeah. What about you, Deb? What do you think? How social media makes success? How has social media made success easier to sell, like fake success easier to sell? Like, how has social media made that possible?
Well, when we
Mm-hmm.
see more of us doing it or think we're doing it in
Mm-hmm.
our community, we feel like, oh, they're letting us in, so we all can, run to the party. But there were times, if we just study history, especially when it comes to the Black community and finances, they didn't want to. They gate kept everything. We didn't know about all the things that we could have participated in when it came to investing our money, because they didn't want Black people to have the money. They didn't want us to be wealthy like they are wealthy. So, now social media, in the words of Constance Carter, they done effed around and gave us the internet. And we just think, oh my God, I see them doing it. So, why can't I, or why can't we benefit from these same, multi-marketing level businesses? I know
Mm-hmm.
that, when I look at how quickly crypto grew. I didn't understand crypto. My son tried to explain it to me. He's like, "Mom, give me $1,000, 500." He even went all the way down as low as $250, and I still wouldn't give him the money to invest or to teach me how to invest because I didn't understand it. And he, he was able to make a lot of money from it, and his business friends made money. They were able to buy property and they live better lifestyles because of it. But because, that generation, like, what you gonna teach me? Like, I'm the mother. I gotta teach
Mm-hmm.
you. And, I'm learning. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
learning.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting. It made me think about how in certain countries, you can't just get, I think China just recently passed a law where you cannot get on the internet and say that you are an influencer unless it's been verified. Milo, do you think that we need a little bit of that here in America? And would
Well,
it
we
cut down on
ain't
the scam?
We ain't, because freedom, I can't move. Freedom cut me
Hmm.
loose. We never gonna give up our freedom here in America. And that's part of it, right? You're free to scam people. I appreciate what Deborah is saying, but guess what? That Darius Cooks, yeah, I'm calling your name, partner. People been scammed by him. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, they got people now saying that they were dealing with her for some type of coursework with their mental health, and they didn't get better because she's really not a mental health expert. And there's nothing wrong with life coaching, y'all. Your
Right.
girl gonna be out here trying to give y'all some life coaching. So I'm not poo-pooing on that at all, but I'm never gonna be Dr. Lowe. I'm never saying that I'm a doctor because I'm not going to get them alphabets at all. And it's okay, right? I feel like social media always has us leveling up, right? So there's 1,001 life coaches without any kind of decorative letters behind their names, but they're not good enough, right? You got to be a MD, PhD, FFI, CHA, all these alphabets that bring credibility, and then we find out you ain't even got the alphabets. With these people scamming, probably mostly Black people, coming there, telling them exactly what Deborah said. You missed out on crypto. You could have been a quadrillionaire if you would have put $500 into crypto 10 years ago. And now you're feeling like, dang, I could have been a quadrillionaire. Well, let me go ahead and give them XYZ and pay the money to go to the conference and pay the money for hotel and food and all of these expenses. Let me go ahead and spend this money that I don't have because this is opportunity, only to not get it. So as much as we are behind, we are also targeting our own people, which is the most like egregious part of all of this, is that you are truly targeting other Black people in your scheme to try to get rich. So you perpetuating a false lifestyle off the backs of the same people that you claim you are helping. And I think that, you got to search inward. It ain't enough policy, right? Because whatever policy I read, I can find a way to work around that policy because it's just words. So there's not enough policy to really keep people from doing this. And the only thing you can do is do your research, right? And not be so compelled by the pitch, right? Because the pitch appeals to your sense of lack. So for you to not be, and I'm sorry, y'all, because we all got pitches. We all up here got pitches. I'm so sorry, but you cannot be so compelled by the pitch that you are just, giving up your life savings for some people who gonna be on a private jet talking about, sucker shit. They not name dropping you, but they talking about all the suckers, and you one of the suckers. Are you strawberry or grape? You gotta decide if you out here buying these internet courses from people that you don't know nothing about.
I agree. What's interesting is people are figuring out more ways to be creative, because we're talking about Cheyenne Bryant, right? Cheyenne actually went and got Dr. Cheyenne Bryant trademarked. And so she's technically using a trademark, but doesn't necessarily. It's like we're going through.
But you didn't say. You never said, right? Well, we all met you sitting there arguing with Cam Newton, right? That's how the majority of people met you during the Cam Newton interview. You could have then said, "Listen, I am Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, but not really. I'm like Dr. Dre, Dr. Pepper." Okay. Not even Dr. Pimple Popper, because she really is a pimple popping doctor, but I'm like, more like Dr. Dre. And if she would have just said that day, I'm a doctor the same way Dre is a doctor, I would have been like, girl, you know what? You talk your talk as a Dr. Dre doctor. But now that you've lied and you've put all of the weight of these credentials behind you, how you gonna come back from that? Now you mad, you cussing out Teray for no reason.
Right. Okay. So let's go to the next video, because I don't want to make, but it is like, right. We're talking about influencers. If you just came in the door, we are talking about social media, wealth culture, and influencers being fraudulent, and what we're seeing more and more every day with scammers, perpetuating a certain lifestyle that they are actually not living. And so we're just trying to get to the bottom of what that means for us, what that means for culture. Our queens have said some really dynamic things, that I really have to think about in terms of just how we consume information, right? How we're consuming it and taking it with the same understanding the internet, and how this is a smoke and mirror thing. And so let's go to the next video, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about it.
I was just watching a video by Pocket Watch with JT. You guys should follow him on YouTube. He gives great information in his videos. But in the video, it talked about a pretty well-known influencer, real estate investment person for the last couple of years, who has been indicted for wire fraud along with his wife. The reason why the video really intrigued me, and I'm talking about it today, is because it's tragic when I see videos like this and I see the type of people who sign up for these courses for the $2,000 to $5,000 mentorship, and then paying the $20,000 to $30,000 for these people like this influencer real estate investor, who is taking advantage of people who cannot afford to take these type of losses. Sadly, that is always the case in these situations. These people are now suing him and his wife because they've lost their life savings. They dug into their 401k, they took money out of their home, or in worst case scenarios, which I talk about all the time, they go out and they get credit cards and max those credit cards out to try to invest in something that turned out to be a Ponzi scheme or a fraud. You should really think about these type of things before you just jump up and enroll or sign up or pay for these type of things because you believe these things are going to make you wealthy because you see the people in these videos giving you the impression that they're wealthy. A lot of times, as you see in this case, it does not work out like that and you end up with nothing. And sadly, as I said before, it's usually the type of people who cannot afford to take these losses. Sadly, those are the type of people that they prey on.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with, right? We're vulnerable people who are not able to actually afford or saying like, this is the opportunity, like all the queens have been saying, this is the opportunity to get me out of my struggle. I think that because of we live in Trump's economy right now, and I think that people are nervous, right? Melissa mentioned AI and how it is coming, and people are feeling the pinch of saying like, I need to do something. Y'all remember months ago, Elon Musk came out and said, listen, y'all got 4 years to figure it out, or y'all gonna be living, or y'all gonna be living basically in a shoebox, right? We're gonna be trying to figure life out, trying to figure life out. And so I think that people are feeling the pinch. So I'm gonna come to you, Melissa, and tell you and ask you, like, what do you think of that? Like, how can we get around like that feeling of maybe desperation or that the sky is falling because of the financial pinch that everybody's feeling in the economy, and just like not getting duped? What do you think? How can we stay away from that?
Well, I'm holistic on a personal note, so I would suggest people, and particularly our community, the Black community, and humanity at whole, to learn how to be more grounded and really figure out what they want out of life, right? So social media has a really good way of, and mind you, this is stuff that has been engineered, What's his name's Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. He had to pay thousands and thousands and hundreds and millions of, I don't think it's millions, but thousands of parents for literally brainwashing their kids. Like, they're addicted to social media because they do this, right? So it's up to humanity, right? Because AI and all that stuff is going to be what it is. We have to know what we want. We have to be the humans, right? We have to be the human intelligence in all of this, right? It can't be up to other people, up to other people to decide what your future is going to be. And that's just what I see too much. Everyone wants to be like someone else.
Mm,
And that's the
And
game of
I
social media.
fuck that.
think I like to mention though, it's not just Black people, it's Mark Rubio, I believe. He got scammed out of millions of dollars. I don't know what the figure is, but some crypto, we're going back to crypto. It was a crypto scheme. And this intelligent man who has all of these businesses, he even fell into the crypto dream. So there's a lot of millionaires and other people who are not, I think because we're not educated about crypto, and we're catching up to it. I think the education, when they see a gap, when these scammers see a gap, then they go in and they say they can tell you anything because you haven't gotten educated about it, and anybody can fall into a scheme or a scam. So we too are being targeted, but I'm just saying, there's people out there, they find that gap that we don't understand, like AI, until we can really understand it. They are using that and they're being predatory about it. They probably don't even understand it, but they know how to make it sound good. So,
Mm-hmm.
you have to look at that as well. And I just want to say with Deborah, one thing, when you said your son came to you, and this is how I thought about it. When your son came to you, he's wearing jeans, he's wearing his little t-shirt or whatever. And you're like, whatever. because I was thinking him coming to me, but then if a man come to me with a suit on, shiny and is tied up in his whatever shoes and red bottoms or whatever you're talking, I'm gonna go with the scammer, even though I know he doesn't know. I mean, I don't know he doesn't know anything, but because how he presents himself, I'm going for it. Your son knows, he knew, but I'm looking at him with his jeans on and t-shirt. What can you teach me? What can you do? So we all look at presentation as well, how we how we get sucked into things.
For sure. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm coming to you, Deborah. Um, but because I feel like that's it. Like there's so many in this culture, people are renting jets, they are renting houses, they are doing content in studio spaces. There's some type of, let's see, somebody has to mute themselves. I hear some feedback. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so people are renting these things, and I think if you do it long enough, if you present a certain way long enough, it becomes reality. The thing about the online, or the thing about the internet, is there you can create whatever reality you want. Whatever you want, you can create it here on the internet, and nobody's going to come and check you and say, no, that's not true, because this is like a false reality. So I never believe the things that are happening on the internet. I too was scammed, right? I too was scammed. I was scammed to go and work for a company. I was scammed and this person, I mean, we were flying on private jets, and he lived in a penthouse and all the things. And it was crazy. And I worked at the company, and I just started seeing certain things and was like, okay. But I can see how you get into a situation and then look around and be like, okay, you believe in the dream, or you believe in the vision, and then you get there and it's not what it seems. And so unfortunately it happens every day. Deborah, how do you think that we as people can really like protect ourselves from that? I love what Melissa said about just really being in tune with ourselves, aligned, and not chasing, because I think sometimes we look at the internet and we're constantly comparing ourselves to things, or saying like, man, we should be here, we should be doing this by this age, and this is the standard, the internet, a place that's not real. So how do we protect ourselves from getting caught in that allure? Because I think everybody does, to some extent. You may not admit it, but everybody is like, they get caught up in some way. So how do we protect ourselves from that?
Discernment. What do you feel in your soul? What do you feel in your spirit? Then I got Prophet Biggie Smalls in my ear right now saying more money, more problems. While we're chasing and trying to get the more money, it comes along with other responsibilities, but also doing your due diligence, research, working with those in your community that are telling the truth, that are about the truth, like how we look up reviews before we buy things. We look up reviews before we stay in hotels or before we travel. Look at the reviews. Has that person really, or that company, have they really produced what they said they produced? We could see from what just happened to Stormy Wellington, like, baby, when the FTC steps in, you can't even say that you made millions for these people, or you help people make millions. So do your research and find out who's really doing what, and not just from the excitement or the hype. We love a good hype in our community. We love a good, we like excitement. We like fun, but we don't always like doing the research. We don't always like doing the reading, doing our due diligence, doing the study to show thyself approved. So that's what we have to do in our community.
I'm glad you mentioned Stormy, because there's certain people that Stormy did make a lot of millionaires. Let's be honest. Like Stormy did help some people become millionaires. I think that what we've been seeing a lot of the times is people, like, they take a course or they get a coach and then be like, I'm gonna be rich, but I don't want to do nothing. Like, a lot of my clients, there's a lot of people that I work with, that we work together, and then we start coaching or whatever, and like, they ain't really about doing the work. It's like, this is what's required. Are you willing to do it? Well, I mean, I don't want to do that, I don't really feel like it. So Marlo, I'm gonna come back to you on this. Like, what, because that could also be, maybe it's not about I think about the messenger right? Maybe the messenger isn't completely legit, but the message itself can make you money. So what, so I wonder if
But
it's people that are like trying to be, they just don't want to do the work
applying
as
the
much.
message will make you money, right? Applying the tutelage is what
Right.
makes you the money. You
Right.
can't have it without the application. But what I'm seeing don't have nothing to do with applications, right? We got cooks that's not cooking. We got coaches that ain't coaching. We got real estate developers that ain't knocking no buildings down, ain't putting no sheetrock up. So where is the work, right? And I think that that's the thing. People get sold the bill of goods over here and they see the lifestyle over here, but there's never the interconnected work in the middle. That's the part that people not seeing. And so if I'm telling you I'll make you $1 million in 60 days, and you like, dang, I ain't never knew I could make us $1 million in 60 days. All right, $1,500. Okay, I just got a little something, throw you over there. And then at the end of the 60 days, right? Because if you got a good coach, if you got good mentorship, they're going to push you through. They're going to double check. They're going to be accountability. They're going to make sure that you're putting it because they care about their reputation. If you have a coach that don't care about their reputation and they going from one sale to the next, to the next, to the next, that's where we get into this. We get into this with people that are not worried about their reputation, people who think that the money will supersede the bad deeds, right? And you could just look back at all the people that you've hurt and squandered and be like, oh, y'all just haters. Y'all some haters over there. But y'all the future millionaires. And that's just, we have to get over aesthetics. Like aesthetics, just like you, Renee says, the aesthetic look of your son, maybe that's the reason. But then you said something that Anonymous caught in the chat. Mark Cuban, no offense, Mark Cuban, because you'd have made 10 gazillion more dollars than me. But I've had a conversation with Mark Cuban before. He's not the smartest person that I've ever met. He's a high risk taker, right? He pulled his money out of Yahoo. He had an early tech investment that made him a lot of money. And since then, Mark Cuban has just been a risk taker and a champion maker with the Dallas Mavericks. Not even smarter than some of the players who, when he was the owner of the Mavericks, he wasn't even smarter than some of the players that were on the team. It's just the idea of he took the risk. So I think that that's another thing that we have to think about. Just because a person will assume risk does not mean that they are smart. It just means that they are not a risk averse person. It just means that when there is risk, they're gonna run into it because they don't mind taking the chance. And definitely the dogs are taking risks.
There's that. Go ahead and mute. We can't handle it. Okay.
High risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward. Before I go to this next video, Melissa or Renee, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I do want to say I apologize. It was Mark Cuban. Thank you very much, everyone, for correcting me. Calling him Mark Rubio.
All good, all good. What about you, Melissa? You good? You want to add anything to that?
Nope. Everything that was said was spot on.
All right. Let's go to our next video. Here we go. I do want to say something.
Got indicted for wire fraud. They was a big business, the real estate. I know y'all know who I'm talking about. I used to follow them. I did. I stopped following him for a few reasons, because some of the business information that he was talking about, it just, I went to school for business, and some of the things that he was saying, he was talking too fast. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on now. And then the mentorship was like $10,000 and up, and I'm like, I would never pay that much for a mentorship. Not for somebody to mentor me. I can go to YouTube. I have old college professors that I can reach out to. I got people that I actually know that run businesses. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I need a mentorship. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just enjoy the free stuff. And I went to a few free classes and stuff like that. It wasn't really nothing that I didn't know. But, it's always nice to have a refresher. But I remember when he was saying that they was trying to get him, and he was trying to tell everybody, it's cool. Don't worry about it. They just doing an audit. They really was doing like a Ponzi scheme. It's really best to just follow your path. Just follow your path, because y'all be following these people online when it comes to business, and they be trying to figure it out too, or they be getting over somehow too. So it's like, you really just got to do your own thing. Don't follow after nobody.
I agree. Don't follow after nobody. Marlo, you said something that was interesting. You said I can make $60 and you're gonna make $1 million in 60 days. And I think that there is it just I think that there's an issue with that, like us wanting to that, right? That like the idea that if somebody came to me and said, I can make you a millionaire in 60 days, I wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't believe anything you're talking about because I know from watching millionaires make millions that that's just not how that works. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of grind, it takes a lot of it just takes a lot of investment and work and depending on what you're doing, but for the most part there is a learning curve. There is time and space where you need to give it time to cook. It takes years to build something. So I would red flag that immediately. But Deborah, do you want to respond to what this young lady said, like mentorship? I want to talk about that because I do know mentorship programs that and masterminds that cost a pretty penny, but it's like the people in those masterminds are kind of amazing, and they take you from here all the way to there. But there's like there's one I'm thinking about in particular, but I just don't, I'm thinking of Traffic, Profit, and Sales, right? With Lamar and his wife, and I really like them. I like the school that they've built and the things that they have inside of it. And they have a mastermind that obviously it costs a certain amount a year, but the things that I've seen people come out of the program with makes it does. When you're in an environment with people that are making money, it absolutely makes a difference. When you're the company you keep, because people are now saying like, oh, you got this, well, come and work with us. Well, you okay, well, and they're just talking business. So I think mentorship, when it's done right, or being in a community that's done right, I think sometimes it's worth the investment. What do you think about that, Deborah?
I think that great mentorship is great. It's great,
Mhm.
and it's good for leadership skills. It's great for building up your business. One person or company in particular that I think of is Myron Golden.
Love
And
Myron
I
Golden.
love Myron. I do. And my nephew, he calls him Uncle Myron. We don't know him
Mhm.
personally, but we that's a circle we looking to get into because he comes very authentic. But there's also a proven track record with Myron and the high level of mentorship that he offers. You've seen proven success. You've seen proven success also because we love the Bible. He's biblical, so we love that too. And he talks about his from being very poor to where he is now, from being a trash man. He's very relatable and honest about where he comes from and what he wants for our community. So I'm telling you guys, we just have to stick together. The Black community has to stick together and work together. And it's not going to happen overnight. But like they say with investments, it takes time. And we got to be able to let that money sit and cook. It has
Mhm.
to cook to
It
grow.
has to cook. It has to cook. It has to
I
cook.
have a question. I mean, I love Myron too, and he is great. I've listened to him, and he's very authentic. Here's the question though with memberships. A lot of us don't are not at that echelon. So how do we afford 10,000, 20,000, $50,000 memberships to get that information to even get onto that platform? I mean, I understand that, but it just seems like maybe there should be some type of, I don't know, look at your income level or say that we'll do it now and you can pay later. It's just how do you get into the circle if you don't have the money to get into the circle? It seemed like just like when I first started off to get a job when I got out of college. Well, I can't get the job because I don't have the knowledge. But you have to, so how do you do that? You have a college degree, but you can't get into there because you don't have the work experience. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. I think
I'm
that's a
just trying to
that's
understand. That's all
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
understand now.
I think
yeah.
that what would be good, right? Because he tutors a lot of people. We're talking about the 1% of people that are no good, right? But there's a whole 99% of people that are great. And there's different tutelage levels, right? And I think that one thing that the internet does is nobody want to hear, I could make you a $5,000 heir. I can help you make $7,500 today. Like nobody want to hear that. People gonna skip me. I don't want no $7,500, right?
That's
But I think that what you're saying, Renee, is important because there is a barrier to entry. So maybe it's not Myron, right? Maybe it's somebody that studied under Myron. Maybe it's the person that you never heard of yet that is somewhere in between where Myron was as a trash man and where he is today, somebody that's in the middle of that that could help. And I think that we need to allow space because what the internet does not allow space for is real. Right, the internet allows space for a whole lot of fake. We will click on some fake shit over and over and over and over again. And I think that if we did amongst us, right, amongst the people that need it, I think if we save space for people who were not promising to get you $1 million, who were not promising to have 50 pieces of property in your portfolio in 24 months, to people that are not making these wild promises that they really can't, you can't make that promise, right? If that market may not be where I am for me to have 24 properties in 2 years, right? So I think that we as the consumers have to make space and seek that information out a little bit more than we do, because the shiny penny is way more eye catching than the one that got a little rust, a little corrosion on it.
hmm You know, I think that there's a way around, right? I love what you said, Marlo, but just thinking about what Renee is saying, I think that it's important to get in the room. Maybe you're not ready to. I know Myron does. Maybe not, you can't do a one-on-one, but you can go to seminars and you can do. Not you. I know you were just putting this out for everybody, but I'm saying like I think that I think maybe if you can buy a $300 ticket and go to a seminar, or a $200 ticket or whatever, and still get in the room with other people and network across instead of trying to network up, right? Like go to those spaces and meet everybody that you can meet in the room and work up that social ladder, make connections. And then listen, I listen to Myron a lot, and I love what he says about making an offer. Then think about like what it is that you can offer, that you can make $50,000, right? What can you offer, in terms of value that'll put you in a space where you can, make money and not scam people, really offer value. I think that is that would be the thought I would have, working, kind of just working up and networking and working with the people that are growing just like you. I think that's how people really, really make their money, really, from networking across. Melissa, what do you say about that? Because I think that's a great question.
That's solid.
What do you say about what's your response to what Renee said?
Can you ask the question again? I think I
Okay,
got cut
so I'm
out.
sorry. Oh yeah, you got off and then on.
Yeah.
So basically Renee was asking like, it with these high ticket, high level influencers or gurus, if they're charging $50,000 for you to get in a space with them, how do you, and you don't have the money, what do you do to get in those types of spaces? How do you network up? So what do you think?
Hmm. Well, just finding proximity other ways. Like what I would do, I would go to like Eventbrite. Those are usually pretty affordable. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay, but you can find very high profile people in those spaces. And once you connect with people that probably know someone, like it's all about who you know. So connect with someone that knows someone, and then connect with that person that might know two other people, and then just continue to grow like that.
Yeah.
But you can just start where you're at.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. She's having some technical difficulties. All right. So, Deborah, what do you say?
I,
Mindset and
I just put in the
manifestation.
chat manifestation and mindset, putting yourself like Melissa just said, in spaces and places, around surrounding yourself with those like-minded people, going to the seminars, meeting people, doing the work, doing the
Hmm.
work,
That's the
you
word.
have to do the work. Yeah, you have to do the work. It's not going to fall from the sky. Investments don't just fall from the sky. You have to enter in enter in to get these things done, so, and you have to let it cook. Gotta let it
Yeah,
cook like a slow cooker.
like a slow cooker.
Yes.
Anonymous says, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You're not paying for information, you are paying for access. That's it. If you can get in the room, that makes all the difference, right? I remember, and then once you get in the room, you got to be crazy enough to be like, okay, what do I do in this room? I remember when I went to a Les Brown event, and I always tell this story, but I went to a Les Brown event, and Les Brown was on the stage, and he was like, "You gotta be hungry," and I was like, "I'm hungry," and he was like, "I want to work with 10,000 people to to bring them into what did he say, the speakers of the next generation." And I was like, I want to be a speaker of the next generation. And he gave out his email address, and I emailed Les Brown for 2 years. One day he just called me and was like, "Hello, what do you want?" Right, like, basically. And after that, he was like, "Meet me in Vegas tomorrow." I was in Vegas the next day, right? So it's like, you just gotta kind of have that, like, that about you, where you just like. And then after that, I was so fortunate to go on a tour a lot of the times with Les. If I was able to travel, obviously I had Lauren and work, but outside of that, if I could, I would. And I learned so much about speaking. I learned so much about making money, like watching him make 500 grand in 45 minutes was something to see as a 30-year-old lady. I was like, wow, okay, like, this is some, just the exposure changed my life. So I just think it's something about that. It's something about the exposure and being so close to, like I said, I think it's just, I'm just that's my strategy, Renee, right? Like, I sent Dr. Boyce a message on Facebook 15 years ago and was like, "Hey, I really like what you talk about. I really like it. I'm doing this video. Can I use what you said as a reference?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, here's what I'm doing if you want to know." And he was like, "Oh, I like that." And we've been friends ever since, right? So I just think it's like being ballsy and being and just like also just knowing what you want. I think the other queen said that, like, just knowing what you want, and then going after that thing. So it's not about, for me, it's not about like uh money or having the things. It's about the relationships I have, and I'll go far and really be aggressive about those things. Marlo, do you want to add anything to that before I play this last video?
No, I think you hit it spot on. I think also putting yourself out there, right? Every town has some little conference, meeting, something going on that is at a low price point. And I think you really just got to put yourself out there, align yourself with the types of people that are on your path. Don't be trying to just collect bodies, right? You ain't no damn bone collector. Get who you need that's going to help you get to where you are and forge long lasting relationships. I love the fact that I have people that I met 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago in the TV industry. I can still pick up the phone and holler at them. I can still talk to them, run ideas by them. That stuff is, relationships are irreplaceable. And when you get the scamming, you lose them.
Yeah, yeah. Before I go to this last video, Deborah, do you want to add anything to that?
Trust in this industry, any industry. Trust is the way you build up with trust.
Okay. All right. Cool. Trust. People got to trust you. People have to like you. People have to want to do business with you. They have to feel like you are not trying to scam them. It's not all about money. Because if it's all about money, then it's not really helping anybody. There's no impact there. It's just about like funneling people through your whatever the thing is. All right, so let's watch this last video, and then we're gonna put our final thoughts together and be thinking about the now points.
I got reached out to by a brand. I'm using this loosely, okay? Now, in hindsight. And I got screwed. Capital One closed my bank account. Venmo also suspended my bank account. And it's all because I got caught up in a little bitty influencer scam. And I say that now with a smile on my face because it's really just that funny. With the latest developments, per Capital One's recommendation, I actually reached out to law enforcement. And in doing so, I talked to maybe 3 or 4 different people, and they were somehow on the fence of if this was even a case that they could take because They were worried that it was falling into the civil lawsuit bucket. But they were like, you know what, we will send a cop out to you. You can explain to him the situation and he will be able to basically identify whether or not it's civil or whether it's criminal. So the cop comes over. I'm like mid Zoom work call and I literally have to tell my team, hey, yeah, the cops are here. I need to be RB. And so I explained to him the entire situation at great length, only to essentially have him say, oh yeah, that's civil. Like that is literally the one sentence I got. So I basically said, I mean, obviously I wasn't gonna cuss the cop out in my living room. So I kept it peachy. I said, thank you for coming out. Thank you for, you know, spending your afternoon with me. Now I need to go find a lawyer. So that is basically the stage that I am currently in. Your girl has to find a lawyer because Venmo will not unfreeze my account or anything. And I technically owe them $1,600 if I don't otherwise find a way to prove that this was a crime.
So I wanted to play her video, right? Because I feel like a lot of people are in these situations where um they're just being scammed, right? I think we all kind of went back to scam. I wanted to play somebody being scammed, basically. And I want to keep today, I want to really, really, really end on a note where we're keeping people from being scammed. And I think the queens have done a great job this hour just talking about ways to protect yourself. But I really, queens, if you could make your final thought around one thing that you would, if there was somebody that had been well, you have been scammed, if there's a situation, basically I just want us to wrap this up in a bow, right, where it's like from here people can just really be more thoughtful about the things that they're doing, the things that they're watching, the things that we're consuming, the like just having I mean, we've talked about discernment and being a whole, having the approach of being in alignment with your spirit and all of that. You know what? Since you all have said that, I'll just ask you a question. Let's go to final thoughts really quick, and then we will get out of here. But what does real fun? I'll ask you all individually your own questions, but I'll start with you, Melissa. I want to know for you, what does financial success really look like, and like what should we be chasing, like what is it that what should we be chasing? Anything, but what should we be, how should we approach financial success? What should we be looking for?
So, financial success, again, that's going to come down to understanding and knowing who you are and what you came into the world to do. Because not everyone was meant to be a millionaire, right? You can be working on a farm and you can be wealthy, right? And be very sustainable. You have food, you're healthy, right? So, like for me personally, again, I'm holistic, right? So my wealth and my success would be making sure my family, we have our life insurances in check, trust, like all the practical financial securities in check. We obviously have money, right? We have income and we're comfortable, we can travel, we can move around. And I like farming. I like healthy food. I like healthy stuff because I honestly believe that health is the real wealth, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have if you're not healthy and if you're not happy. To me, it doesn't matter, so for me is simply being holistic, knowing who you are. Start from there.
Yeah, where can people find you?
Everyone can find me on Instagram at it's Melissa B.
It's Melissa B, y'all. Make sure you follow
Yes.
Melissa. And we want to welcome Melissa back. This was our first show back in a while. We missed your
Mhm.
face and we're so happy to see you again.
Thank
Um,
you.
of course. Marlo, for people that are feeling the pinch and that are feeling desperate to make money, this is a real thing, right? Like there's a lot of people struggling. What would you say to people that are looking to level up, but like Renee says, like really can't get in the room or don't really know what to do?
I would say the most important thing is to figure out what you want to do. That's the easiest way to not get scammed. That's the easiest way to not let a fast pitch turn into desperation that turns into your account is locked from, you can't get into Chase or Venmo. I think that people really, you just lock in, figure out what it is that you want, figure out what the best way is for you to get there. Melissa had a great thing with the Eventbrite because a lot of times those are, less cost prohibitive. Join a group where you are, a social media group. Every city now has like a Black business group or something to that effect. Get into a group of on social media. Those people are going to have good recommendations because those people are where that's your mindset people. Those are the people that are looking and thinking and trying to do the same things that you are looking, thinking, and trying to do. So just take it slow. I know it's hard. Them bills be pressing. It's the first of the month. Look like it come every 4 weeks. It look like it's every other week. It's the first of the month, y'all. So it's hard out here, but don't be desperate. Don't be desperate for a man, a woman, a job, a come up, none of it, because you're going to end up in a bad situation. Don't be desperate.
Where can people find you?
Oh, yes, my IG is right there. Over Marlowe. That is my name backward, forward, and you see the underscore on the end. But I'm the only one that's out there like that. So you type in that first little 5 letters, that's me. You're going to find me. And I will be re-releasing a book, a memoir that I wrote. It is a self-help book, and it is going to come with a self-help accompaniment this go around so people can take notes. You can write about your own things. I will have prompts in there for you, all of the things so that we could get our minds right so that we don't move with desperation because we know who we are.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. We'll be on the lookout for that. Yes, yes, I love that. Renee, what are some red flags that we should be looking for when we're watching content? And just so we can stay vigilant, what are some red flags that we can look for and say, okay, I clocked that. Cool, I might watch this, but I'm not going to invest or I'm not going to get sucked into it. What do you think?
I believe the one red flag is the flashiness, the receipts that looks unrealistic. The background with the waterfall and the Bugatti, because I just saw my mom say that in the background. So there's things that just a clear indicator that they're trying to impress you, open up like wow, the wow factor, and then sink you into their teeth. So I believe just looking for those types of signs and the fast talking. They get real fast. They talk at 100 miles an hour when they're trying to sell you something that's not legit. So Tricycle Sync is legit and does have receipts, helping Black women, maternal women, and their babies to save them and make sure that they are being seen and heard at the doctor's office. So go to tricyclesync.com and check us out.
I love it. Go to Tricycle Sync, guys. Definitely. Okay, Deborah. I'm gonna round it out with you, and I want to know, for someone that may have already been scammed, and that's already like that may be trying to rebuild after losing everything. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to definitely do their due diligence and research before going back into investing, because scamming can make you leery of everything and anything. It could make you put up walls where you won't want to invest anymore, and you don't want that. You don't want that for a person. You want them to be able to trust again, and build their money. And in our community, I would like for us, and shout out to my cousin Professor Tasha Young. We just talked about this. We need to just work with us, work with ourselves, invest in ourselves. We spend the most money. Let's spend the money with each other. Let's let our money circulate within our community. Keep the dollar in the Black community as long as we can do it, and just keep betting on us. We are an amazing people. We're magical. We got it. We the fire. Like this earth cannot move without us. And so, that's what I want us to do. I want us not to be afraid if we've been scammed. Let's get back in there. You may have to put your pinky toe in there to start, but get back in there and get those investments in and just watch it. Watch yourself, watch your surroundings, and check the reviews just like we review everything else. Do your due diligence and do the work. Don't rely on anybody else to do it for you. Don't just put all your trust and all your eggs in one basket. You can find me here at Fly Nubian Money. I'm Deborah E. Williams. Deborah will win 11 on YouTube. And thank you so much. I love having cultural conversations because we need them. Have a great Memorial Day, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, y'all, for joining me today, having this conversation. I know it wasn't as flashy, but I definitely want us to, for sure, be mindful of the things that we are consuming. I'm gonna say that again. Um, my final thought is this. One of the things that I've learned working in Hollywood is that everything that glitters is not gold. I live in a town where people are literally like faking it until they make it. They're a celebrity, like 90% of the people on television probably don't have anywhere to live. They are, living on people's couches, but on your television screen every single day. And I know sometimes that can be really, really confusing about like what it really means if this person's on television and then like the perception. I feel like the internet is becoming another layer of that is that right where we used to look at Hollywood stars and say, oh my God, I know they have all the money and the fame. Now people are closer, like normal people are becoming those people that we used to watch on television. And I think that we have to be mindful and know that it's all pretty much smoke and mirrors and a scam in some ways, and it's creating a life, an illusion, a fantasy. That's what Hollywood is. It's a fantasy. And that's what the internet is. It's a fantasy taken way further. So I would just say this, just be mindful of that. Be mindful when you're watching things. Yes, get what you can and process it and follow, do the work and all the things. But just know that, the person that may be the messenger may not be all that they say they are. That's it. All right. So thank you so much, y'all, for watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master. We hope that we've helped you master some of your mindset and maximize your money. Again, my name is Tiara Williams. I'm the proud producer of this show. And if you are new around here or this is your first show watching, you can text Queens to 87948. If you want to come back again, we are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means we'll be here for the rest of the week. I promise I'm not sick anymore. Anonymous, I saw you say that you're sick. I hope you feel better because last week it was bad for me. But I thank you so much to the family that comes in every day. They come in, Double A, I see you, girl. Mama Walterine, what's up? AC Salam, I think I seen Dennis Spraggins, the real black lexicon, Booker, what's up? Just all of you. We just appreciate you for always being here with us. You come in every day, you engage with us, and we could not ask, there would be no us. We would have nobody to talk to if you weren't here with us. So we appreciate that. So with that being said, we are over time. We thank you for staying. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much and happy Memorial Day. We want to give a shout out to the people that have fought and that died for for our protection. So we appreciate that. And y'all enjoy your barbecue. We about to get out.